This is Florida Gulf Coast University.
Stop, let me see your hands. Oh, a little slow. This is the Weapons Equipment Research Institute. We were formed in 2005, 2006 under a congressional earmark, and our primary function is to test and evaluate less lethal weapons so that law enforcement officers and their agencies can best determine how they can be used in the field. This one has a simulated taser, and they react the same way that somebody was tased. It's got a simulated pepper spray. They act the same way that you would pepper spray. It's pretty sophisticated software. It's branching videos. So it hits a decision point. So, yes, no, and then you go off, and those branch. But if you have one after another of these, you can make people so uptight about threat, we call hypervigilance, that when you go into 7-Eleven, well, I know what happens when I leave here if I do it for a couple hours. Yeah. I go in there and I can hear my heartbeat in my ears. This is because cops don't want to shoot through the glass. This is here, you're sitting in your police car. Our primary thing right now is trying to figure out what glitches are in the system. Now that's a report that goes back to both Department of Justice and the manufacturer. Sometimes our earmarks are very open-ended and we have great latitude in what we're studying. Other times we're working specifically for one of the Department of Justice branches, and we're doing a very specific type of analysis. This is a prototype gun. It's the only one in the country that will fire the beanbag rounds semi-automatic. We discovered that an individual had manufactured some type of new gas operating system on the shotgun. We decided we would purchase one of these for evaluation, and right now it's looking like one of the best potentials for law enforcement in the future. It's called a Sega 12, made by the Russian Armory, modified by good U.S. engineering and ingenuity. Well, Joe's going to be the shooter of this because this is her study. The advantage of this is it uses detachable magazines, which means I can switch from one ammo to another. If I had a riot and they started to charge the line, you can fire bean bags if you want. This isn't working, take these out, I can go to aerial flashbangs, which will detonate above their heads.
Right now we're just testing the functionality of the weapon to make sure the weapon fires, how many shots it can fire off, how often it needs to be cleaned, and the inner mechanisms of it.
It's the equivalent of running up and hitting somebody with a baton in the leg. I just hit you with this in the leg. It's really what we're looking for. Would I say put it on the street today? No. A first generation prototype is obviously going to have some issues.
I'm working on the skip fire. The 37mm skip fire, they shoot batons. You either have rubber or wood, and 5 come out at one time, and it's for crowd dispersion. We've been trying to see where they hit and what kind of damage we can get.
We're testing steam ball grenades. It basically breaks up when it explodes. It's filled with 105 of these 32 caliber rubber balls. Safety off, pins out, bang! It's called a separating fuse munition. It blows the fuse, the big metal part off the top. And that's what pushes the grenade anywhere from 7 to 20 feet sometimes from where you throw it. But our big deal on here is, trying to see if there's any stability at all in those products. And really what we're seeing is they're not that stable. And there is no standard for any of this stuff. There is a standard for light bulbs.
Right.
Why is there no standard for batons, bullets, pepper sprays? We find stuff in those pepper sprays that are appalling. We've got batons that vent after the first time we hit a punching bag. We're not going to be around for much longer. That's unfortunate. I wish we could be. But Honestly, the money just dried up. There's just no federal money. But until that fateful day in May of 2012, we're going to continue to provide the same service that we have been, either testing and evaluating less lethal products or providing training for local law enforcement.